I take this time to recognize the Honorable Marvin Gonzalez, Minister of Public Utilities. I also want to recognize the Honorable Colm Imbert, Minister of Finance and Member of Parliament for Diego Martin Northeast. Dr. the Honorable Nyan Gatsby-Dolly, Minister of Education and Member of Parliament for St. Anne's East. The Honorable Terence Dial Singh, Minister of Health and Member of Parliament for St. Joseph. The Honorable Adrian Leons, Minister in the Ministry of Housing and Development and Member of Parliament for Laventille East Mova. The Honorable Saddam Hussein, Member of Parliament for San Juan Barataria. Also recognized at this time Arlene Collis, Deputy Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Public Utilities. We recognize Mr. Hilan Morin, Deputy Mayor of Port-of-Spain. Mr. Sigler Jack, Chairman, Diego Martin Regional Corporation, and councillors and members of the Diego Martin Corporation. Also recognize other members of the Port-of-Spain City Corporation who are here with the Deputy Mayor. Members of Council of the San Juan Laventille Regional Corporation. Mr. Atchison Wells, the Deputy Chairman of the WASA Board of Commissioners and fellow commissioners. Mr. Kelvin Romain, Acting Chief Executive Officer at WASA and members of the WASA management team. Especially invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. It's really a pleasure to be able to welcome you here this morning as we gather for a very special and auspicious occasion. And it is for the launch of the Northwest Water Supply Improvement Program. What is this all about? You realize that quite a number of the persons recognized in my opening salutations, members of Parliament, ministers / members of Parliament, are for, as well as the representatives from the regional corporations and Port-of-Spain City Corporation, will represent representatives for the northwest part of the island. And so the Northwest Water Supply Improvement Program is a program that has been developed out of the Ministry of Public Utilities, funded by the ministry, with WASA as the executing agency that would aim to deliver a series of projects aimed at improving the water supply to several areas, communities throughout Northwest Trinidad. So that's basically the purpose of our gathering here this morning. And you hear, of course, a whole lot more about the program as we proceed. But I want to get out of the way at this time to introduce our first speaker. And that person, none other than the acting CEO of WASA, Mr. Kelvin Romain, will come at this time to deliver the opening remarks. Mr. CEO.
Good morning. All protocols observed. Welcome to the launch of the Northwest Water Supply Improvement Program. This program will address issues and challenges impacting the water service to customers in several areas of Northwest Trinidad. This initiative is an integral element on the ongoing transformation at the Water and Sewerage Authority. In the government's determination to re-establish WASA as an organization of reliability and consistency, much effort has been placed into a framework to further develop and enact WASA's mandate as a provider of water and wastewater services to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. The United Nations in a 2010 publication listed access to water as a basic human right. To oblige to this decree, a holistic approach has been adopted to remedy issues related to the source of supply, transmission, and distribution of water nationwide. The strategy adopted by the authority to assist in network optimization and efficiency is the district metered area approach. This technique is part of a broader NRW or non-revenue water initiative. In simple terms, this is a disaggregation of the distribution system into discrete metered zones. The benefits include reduction in production costs, transition from scheduled service to 24/7 supply, reduced system losses, data-driven distribution management, and reduction of our carbon footprint as a result of reduction in energy requirements. As part of this dynamism, an integrated data management system will combine all data inputs from various platforms such as geographical information systems or GIS, our billings, the DME data information, as well as service monitoring systems. This single platform will be capable of analyzing data sets through purpose-fit algorithms to provide sustainable management of our water infrastructure. This will in turn benefit the authority through cost recovery from water loss control, emergency preparedness and response or crisis management, planning and financing of capital improvements, communication and transparency with our stakeholders, and environmental stewardship such as watershed protection and conservation. I must say, truly exciting times in the authority. As more details are divulged regarding projects to secure new sources of water in Northwest and other parts of the country, it will become evident that concerted strides are being taken to increase water production from groundwater sources or wells, which are less vulnerable to the ever-changing weather patterns. The authority pledges not only to bring about improvements in supply delivery, but also more sustainable climate-resilient supply. In closing, it is imperative to highlight the strategic approach and support from our line minister, the Honorable Marvin Gonzalez, and the team from the Ministry of Public Utilities, also along with a prudent oversight by the Board of Commissioners led by Chairman Ravindra Nanga, and finally, the hardworking team and management and staff of WASA. I thank you.
Thank you, CEO, for those opening remarks. And CEO would have kind of laid the foundation there for the further development in terms of information being provided and revealed relative to the Northwest Water Supply Improvement Program, and to begin providing some further details on that, we have the Acting Director of Operations at WASA, Ms. Shaira Ali, and she will come now to provide a program overview at this time. Shaira?
Good morning, everyone. All protocols observed. Please forgive me, we have a technical difficulty. The podium is too tall. Yes. So this is my, okay. All right. So when the authority's Water Supply Improvement Program, WSIP, was initiated, its purpose was to enhance the water delivery services to those communities that receive an adequate water supply to provide their daily needs. The program's focus was and continues to be on those communities that receive less than 24/2 level of service, and the objective is to increase their water supply to a minimum 24/3 level of service as outlined in the Strategic Action Plan. A water supply improvement initiative spearheaded by the Minister of Public Utilities, the Honorable Marvin Gonzalez, with WASA as executing agency, was launched. This initiative is known as the Community Water Improvement Program. The CWIP is an initiative of the Ministry of Public Utilities to improve the level of service and the reliability of water supply to water-stressed communities throughout Trinidad and Tobago. With the commencement of the CWIP program in June 2021, customers of localized communities where projects were concluded experienced the benefit of significant improvements in their water supply. Under CWIP, projects implemented included installation of new mains to replace long service connections, replacement of old mains, and extension of existing mains, rehab of underproducing and active wells, construction of intakes and water treatment plants, construction of booster station, and the construction and refurbishment of distribution service reservoirs. In phase 1 of the CWIP, several critical water improvement projects were identified with beneficiary communities located in Northeast, Central, and South Trinidad, which included areas such as Manzalina, Morva, Laramine, Cameron, Shaflet, Talparo, Brasso Seco, La Fortune, Clark Road, and Ramjata and Trace. All these communities were able to be benefited from the completion of successful projects, and their level of service have improved tremendously. The program of works was comprised of 24 projects which benefited over 86,000 residents in supply deficient zones throughout these areas. In phase 2 of the CWIP, there was the commencement of 10 projects aimed at improving water supply to communities that were either serviced by long service connections, experiencing very low pressures, or had no pipeline infrastructure to access potable water. In this phase of the program, approximately 8,000 residents of the communities of Parman, Las Lomas, Five Rivers, Lucero, French Fort, and Cottel and Tobago would benefit from an improvement in their water supply through implementation of these 10 projects. These projects were critical to the provision of a stable and reliable pipe-borne water supply, which historically have been challenged with low levels of service and storage capacity. The projects have also brought first-time water supply to some of those communities. I am at this time happy to report that at least 95% of those projects are completed, and we look forward to completing the other 5% so that all of the 10 areas where projects were identified will see and realize the true benefit from that CWIP program. In phase 3 of the CWIP, which commenced in June 2022, 22 projects are to be undertaken. And these projects will provide an enhanced water supply to approximately 28,000 persons of varying communities within North, South, and Tobago. These projects include installation, again, water mains, booster stations, water storage, and localized surface water intakes in areas such as Parman, Barataria, Matura, Sandy Grande, and Signal Hill, Tobago. As the success of the CWIP continued to improve the lives of new and existing customers, a strategic program was developed to focus on a greater geographic area to include several communities within an operational district. The approach is to examine the district's infrastructure, the operational status of plants and equipment, and the performance of the distribution system, and determine the actions necessary to holistically improve the levels of service in this area. This phase of WSIP begins in the densely populated Northwest District, and it is geared towards the enhancement of the authority's water delivery services to its Northwest customers and stakeholders. As was mentioned prior, attention is first placed on those communities that have been receiving a 24/2 level of service or lower. The authority has in this manner adopted a complex strategy enveloping a program of capital venture projects related streamlining methodologies, and the use of working techniques for process expected to guarantee consistency and dependability of its working framework. This strategic plan will encounter the advantage of a better water supply. The Northwest District extends from and is bounded by the highway in the east, Tetron, Charamas in the west, Maracas, Blantyres in the north, and Sealots, Bamboo No. 1 in the south, with a population of over 325,000 residents. The district's water supply is obtained from both ground and surface sources. Approximately 32 million gallons, or 47% of water supplied to the Northwest District, is produced from outside of the district, from the Caroni Water Treatment Plant located in Piaco, via 2 booster stations which are named the Valsin A, Valsin B, and also another significant booster, the El Socorro Booster Station. There are currently 165 operating schedules in the Northwest Zone, 107 in one zone, which we term West-Northwest, and 58 in East-Northwest. 74 schedules, of 45% of the overall schedules, operate at 24/2 or less level of service. I would like to take a few minutes to share with you some of the challenges that we at the authority encounter in providing a reliable supply to the Northwest area. And then it will make sense in terms of the program of works, why it is so critical that we embark on this program at this time. In the Northwest District, there are a number of challenges that negatively impact water delivery to a significant number of customers in several communities. And these range in nature from infrastructural to operational and, of course, maintenance. On the infrastructural end, the authority has a number of water mains that are aged and that have therefore become prone to high frequency of leaks and bursts. Many of the mains in the district are aged between 30 and 50 years old, while there are others that are quite over 100 years old. This is in the Maraval area. These aged mains have exceeded the stage of useful life and are contributing to high levels of NRW. With the absence of remote monitoring capabilities via a SCADA system, the authority is unable to effectively track operations and network performance, a key issue for us, and therefore much of the responsive is reactive, unfortunately. In many of the unmanned stations, on routine scheduled visits, personnel are frequently met with unauthorized occupants that pose security risks to the operations and maintenance staff. Furthermore, the issue of vandalism of equipment and structural components is a major concern, thereby leading to equipment malfunction and disruption in supply. There is also the phenomena of the exponential increase in planned and unplanned developments across Northwest District. With such poorly regularized developments, the authority is pressed to extend its network at significant cost that may be further challenged to recover. And this has been a serious issue again for the WASA team. There are many established and elevated communities being served by booster stations in the Northwest. However, many more have extended further upland. This then necessitates the installation of additional pipeline infrastructure, pumping stations that results in higher pressure requirements for delivery of supply. This, of course, is no cheap venture. Similar to the pipeline infrastructure, many of the water treatment plants and booster stations have also deteriorated over the years and are therefore not operating at required design capacity, whilst the pumping requirements of its supply zone would have increased demand, thus the urgent need for upgraded works on these facilities. This is extremely important because, as everyone would understand, the Northwest area is highly elevated, and it's one of our districts where we do have the most amount of booster stations, which we use to boost or energize the water supply so that we could reach the customers at the very end of the system. And in most cases, those customers are very elevated. In order to maintain continuity of operations and improve the level of service to customers, all plants and equipment must operate at optimum capacity until at such time that plant maintenance is required. The lack of spares to conduct maintenance works increases the duration of the disruption of supplies to customers. The reliability of the plant is therefore compromised, increasing the number of customer complaints received by the authority. A 3-year plan to stabilize and improve water supply has been developed to implement a strategic action plan for organizational change through the joint efforts of the Ministry of Public Utilities and the Water and Sewerage Authority. Through this initiative, the Northwest Water Improvement Program was developed to provide a reliable and sustainable water supply. This initiative is being pursued throughout Trinidad and Tobago, and in the upcoming months, there will be other districts where similar program of works will be proposed. This strategic plan is expected to improve the level of service to approximately 143,000 persons that currently receive a 24/1 and 24/2 level of service to a minimum 24/3 level of service. In conjunction with the capital works for supply improvement, there are key support initiatives to bolster and maintain the improved level of service for years to come. Some of these initiatives are as follows: to re-engineer the distribution network for optimized operation, the installation of data loggers, as CEO mentioned, and SCADA system to improve automation of facilities to allow for remote monitoring of networks, something that we are eager and about to introduce into the authority. The continued establishment of district metered areas, or DMAs, to aggressively target and reduce sources of NRW. The implementation of a stringent preventative maintenance protocol for all facilities. I want to touch a little bit more on the maintenance protocol. Upon completion of the Northwest Water Supply Improvement Program, the authority will ensure the reliability of all its facilities and that these are maintained to ensure full availability and reliability of equipment and supply. With the successful operation of these initiatives, facility failures are to be distinctly reduced, as well as disruption in supply. The Ministry of Public Utilities, under the patronage of the Minister of Public Utilities, the Honorable Mr. Marvin Gonzalez, in conjunction with the authority, will strive to ensure all the deliverables of this program are delivered and to produce an improved supply to the Northwest District. We, the WASA team, the executive, the board, and all of the staff are committed to ensuring the successful completion of this project. We look forward, we are eager, we are ready to go. I would like to now hand you over to Mr. Sean Salandi, Head Water Projects at WASA, who will provide a greater detail of the projects and objectives of this program. I thank you.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. All protocols observed. My assignment this morning is to take you through a brief summary of the Northwest Water Supply Improvement Program. Now, this program is grounded in three main pillars. Pillar one, the optimization of the water distribution network. This will involve main replacement and repairs, change out of high leakage mains, and old and encrusted pipelines. This will lead to improved pressures in the system and a reduction in non-revenue water. It will also involve the refurbishment of booster stations and water treatment plants, which will ensure reliability and continuity of operations and increase system redundancy. It will also involve the construction and refurbishment of distribution service reservoirs and storage tanks. Pillar two, increase water production levels. And this is with an emphasis on developing localized sources of water. This will be accomplished through the development of groundwater, through the refurbishment of existing wells and drilling of new wells, the development of surface water sources, refurbishment, upgrade of existing intakes, construction of new intakes, and water treatment plants. Pillar three, the establishment of a smart water network, which will facilitate the remote monitoring of our transmission and distribution system to obtain real-time information on plant operations and service disruptions. This will drastically reduce response times to technical and customer issues. This will also improve the security of our water supply and improve the alignment of our quality of service standards with the RIC. Now, within these three pillars, there are 7 categories of projects. First of which, the production of new production sources. There are 2 surface water sources to be developed and 6 groundwater sources, giving you a total of 12.5 million gallons of water per day. There are 18 projects. There are 18 mains replacement projects, totaling 13.5 kilometers of pipeline. There are 2 new booster stations to be constructed, 19 booster stations to be refurbished, 2 water treatment plants also to be refurbished, an additional 300,000 gallons of storage, installation of 19 bulk meters at strategic locations throughout the network, and the automation of a few of our critical facilities in the Northwest. That is a total of 53 projects to be implemented under the Northwest Water Supply Improvement Program. And these projects will be spread through 5 major supply zones. These supply zones are Maraval Paramin, Diego Martin Tucker Valley, Cascade St. Anne's, Santa Cruz Sawa, and Laventil Picton. The next few slides will just give you some more specifics in terms of the projects in each area. Tucker Valley, Diego Martin. There are about 10 booster stations to be refurbished and or upgraded in this Tucker Valley, Diego Martin catchment. 1 new booster station to be constructed to supply residents in Pioneer Drive, Pitti Valley. A number of pipelines have been identified for replacement in Goodwood Park, Western Main Road, Mount Coco Road. There are new production sources proposed, a surface water treatment plant on the Blue Basin River with a target production of 270,000 gallons of water per day. Deep wells are to be drilled in the Tucker Valley bedrock system with a target production of 2 million gallons of water per day. There are two key facilities in this catchment to be automated. Those are Tucker Valley Pumping Station and the Four Roads Pumping Station. Maraval Paramin. Additional groundwater is to be sourced in this area. The restoration of the Paramin well number 5, which will produce approximately 300,000 gallons of water per day. Deep well drilling within the Maraval bedrock, targeting 2 million gallons of water per day. New mains and pipeline replacement. A transmission main between Paramin levels 1 and 2. A distribution main at Rose Hill, Saddle Road, Maraval. Storage will be constructed at Paramin level 3, 100,000 gallons, and at the Paramin base station, 200,000 imperial gallons. Booster stations will be upgraded at Lafayette, Paramin levels 1, 2, and 3, and at the Paramin base station. The Maraval water treatment plant is to be refurbished and upgraded, with the intakes being refurbished, the filters, and the chemical dosing system. Picton Laventille. A number of booster stations have been identified to be refurbished and upgraded. The El Socorro booster station, St. Barb's booster station, Pump Trace booster station, and the Picton Road or Picton 2 booster pump station. Cascade St. Anne's. 3 booster stations have been identified for upgrade within this supply zone: the Koblenz booster station, the Fonset, and the St. Anne's booster. New production sources are targeted with a focus on groundwater, with a new well to be drilled in the Queen's Park Savannah well field, with an expected production of 500,000 gallons of water per day. Deep well drilling within the Cascade bedrock system is targeted in this area, with a target production of 2 million gallons of water per day. New mains and pipeline replacement. Mains will be installed to and from the Hololo tank along Hillside Avenue and Ariapita Road, Cascade Road from Walker Avenue to Monrepo Road, and St. Anne's Gardens. Sawa Santa Cruz. New mains and pipeline replacement will take place along Saddle Road, Sawa, 2nd Street, Sawa, Concord Road, Sawa, 2nd Street, Malik. A new booster station is proposed for the community of My Tower, which will improve service to the customers in Upper Bush and Irving Street. A new production source is proposed on the Meadows River in Santa Cruz, with a target production of 3 million gallons of water per day. As Director Ali alluded to, our goal here is to improve service levels from 24/1 and 2 to a minimum of 3 days service per week. This is expected in all these areas identified, with the number of beneficiaries as follows: approximately 60,000 persons in the Tucker Valley Diego Martin catchment, approximately 20,000 persons in the Paramin Maraval catchment, approximately 10,500 persons in the Cascade St. Anne's 18,500 persons in the Santa Cruz, Sawa, 32,000 persons in the Picton, Lavantil area. A total of 143,000 persons will benefit from this Northwest Water Supply Improvement Program. With regard to the timeline for this program, based on the variety of projects being implemented, we will start seeing project completion from as early as 6 months, and the program will be 80% complete within 12 months and complete within 18 months. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Director of Operations Shira Ali and Sean Solandi, Head of Water Supply Projects, for the outline and details relative to the execution of the Northwest Water Supply Improvement Program. Of course, before I move on, though, let me just recognize the Honorable Simon Dinabriga, Minister of Communications and Member of Parliament for Lego Martin Central, came in. And I also want to recognize Chairman of the San Juan Lavender Regional Corporation, Mr. Anthony Roberts, who would have also come in. So we've heard some details in relation to the program, the timeline, what would not have been addressed at all in the information provided by Shira or Sean would have been the cost of this program. Of course, all those works identified there to be undertaken certainly would have a significant budget attached to it. But we're so happy today that we have with us someone who's going to provide some very important impetus in relation to the execution of this project. I'm talking about none other than Minister of Finance, the Honorable Coleman Burt, who is here, and who we want to thank the Minister of Finance, who has been through the Ministry of Public Utilities providing support, financial support in relation to the execution of the CWEP program. And I'm certain that his support is going to continue along the line in relation to this program. So at this time, let us please welcome the Honorable Coleman Burt, Minister of Finance, who is going to address us.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremonies. There is an exceedingly long protocol list, so I will simply say all protocols observed. I'm not here as the Minister of Finance. I'm here as the Member of Parliament for Diego Martin Northeast. And I will speak now on behalf of all members of Parliament who are here, including the Member of Parliament for Barataria. I've been an MP now for 30 years. In that 30 years, the number one issue that I have had to deal with as an MP, believe it or not, is not employment, it is not local infrastructure, it is water. In my first couple years as an MP, I would routinely get calls at 11 o'clock on Sunday night. I can't speak for others. My home number is listed in the directory. It still is. I haven't taken it out. So people will call me at 11 p.m. on a Sunday night to tell me they haven't had water for the last 3 weeks. So my response would be, what on earth can I do at 11 o'clock on a Sunday night? And they know that, eh? And then I also ask them, what have you done for the last 3 weeks? Because you told me you haven't had water for 3 weeks. They said they've been talking to WASA. And eventually their frustration reached a point where they couldn't take it anymore. So they decided to call me. Knowing that I can't do anything at 11 p.m. on a Sunday night, but they just want to offload their frustration on me as MP. That's one of the jobs we as MP have to do. We have to listen. And this has gone on for 30 years. Now, in my constituency, and some of the constituencies that are here have similar parallels. I have a lot of hilly areas, a lot of mountainous areas. And the population in my constituency is served by booster pumps, by tanks, by pipelines going up mountains. And it never works. The pipelines burst, you have leaks, so there's a loss of pressure. The booster pumps fail, the tanks fail, and so on. So there's a continuous requirement on the part of WASA to keep dealing with these infrastructural problems. We in the north as well have been affected by the fact that for the last, if I go back now, how many years? 31 years, the head of the government, well, not until now, actually, let me correct my arithmetic. Between 1991 and 2015, the head of the government was from South Trinidad. Now, that's a very important point. Didn't matter which political party was in power. And there was a belief that the southern areas of Trinidad have been underserved. And as a result, the northern areas of Trinidad have paid the price between 1991 and 2015. These are facts. So that we have aging infrastructure. I have water lines in Marvin that must be 75 years old. 100, you say. There are water lines in my constituency made of asbestos cement. Just imagine that. That was a material that was used many years ago when there was no understanding of the health hazard of asbestos. We have pumps that are probably 40, 50 years old. We have tanks that have rusted away, and no longer can be used. And this will apply across the board. So I have my areas like Dundonald Hill, River Estate, Don Diego Martin, Paramin, of course, the higher areas in Maraval, always out of water. And I'm sure our colleague from Barataria has similar problems, and I know that my colleague from Diego Martin Central, from Lavantil, from St. Joseph, all have similar problems. And this is why I'm here today. I am so happy that a Minister of Public Utilities has finally recognized that it's time to pay attention to the water supply infrastructure in northwest Trinidad. And I thank Minister Gonzalez for that. And I was surprised to learn that northwest Trinidad goes all the way to, where does it go? Mount Hope. My concept of northwest is Port of Spain west, but it appears that the WASA district organization, it goes all the way to Mount Hope. So that's why we have the MP for St. Joseph and the MP for Barataria here, who will have similar problems. Aging infrastructure, broken down pumps, infrastructure that should have been changed 50 years ago. So I totally support this project. I endorse it, and I will ensure as Minister of Finance that whatever funding is required will be provided for this project. Now, I've been in these functions before. Remember being an MP for 30 years, and I heard many WASA managers and many ministers of public utilities talk about what they're going to do for the water problems of North Trinidad. I hear that before, 1,000 times. Ministers come, ministers go, government come, government go. WASA management come, WASA management go. Problems remain. So I will ask the minister and the current leadership of WASA, please, on this occasion, let's make a difference, let's make a change, and let's give the people of Northwest Trinidad the water supply that they deserve. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister. As we move on in this morning's program, of course, we have with us Line Minister, the Honorable Marvin Gonzalez, Minister of Public Utilities, and of course, this program is taking place under the leadership of our Minister of Public Utilities, and he certainly would have a lot to say in relation to what is about to transpire with the launch of this program. So this time, let's welcome Minister Gonzalez at this time.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. And like Minister Imbut, I would say all protocols duly observed. There's nothing much I can say about, after listening to Minister Imbut, I don't think, and Shira and Sean, thank you all very much for a very professional presentation. But, what Minister Imbut said was very interesting to me because I have been accused, and the government has been accused of discrimination where water is concerned. And I have seen it on both sides. I've seen people in UNC areas accuse the government of discriminating against people in UNC areas, and I have seen, you will not be surprised, people from PNM areas accusing the government of even discriminating against PNM areas. And in my quiet moments, I try not to be pulled into that because I understand the frustration of people when they don't have water. And when they don't have water, they become so emotional over it that you just try to come up with all kinds of theories as to why you're not getting water. So I feel the pain of citizens, sincerely, for not having water. And I want to let them know that if you believe that policies and programs are designed based on geography or race, it is certainly not so. But I do understand your pain and your concerns. We started this Northwest project because all of the regions, Northeast, Central, South, Tobago, were put in various teams and they were asked to develop programs. Fortunately for Northwest, I will not say that the Northwest team is more competent to get it done, but I think they had a head start. But very soon, I expect within the next 5 days to have the Northeast plan, North Tobago plan, and the Central and South plan. Because you have to take into consideration the various nuances and the challenges of every region. As Minister Imbut said a short while ago, the Northwest area comprises of several hilly areas like Paramin, in Laventil, in Simeon Road, in Covine Road, in some parts of San Juan and the Santa Cruz areas. And you would be surprised to know that in the Northwest area, you have the most amount of leaks. And that is because they rely so much on boosters to pressure water to the highest points. And the more you get the utility up to the highest point, customers see it as a green light to continue going higher. So the more they go higher, the more they expect the utility to be provided. So that's some of the challenges that we have. But I realized Shira and they did not put on the presentation that in the Northwest region, you have over $200 million owed to the authority by customers. And if I can only get 50% of that $200 million or so owed to the authority, it means that we can do double of these projects, thereby improving, allowing the authority to continue pursuing investment projects like these to improve the levels of service. So very soon, I look forward to the next month or so, to roll out the Northeast Plan, the Tobago Regional Water Improvement Plan, the Central and South Regional Water Improvement Plan. And the objective of these plans is to ensure that no community in Trinidad and Tobago receives a water supply of below 24.3. We have too many communities getting a level of service once every 9 days. I mean, really? Once every 9 days? And by the way, don't feel it's happening in one part of Trinidad. Almost every part of Trinidad and Tobago, you can get a community or two getting a water supply of once every 9 days. And if WASA, for whatever reason, if there's a disruption in the system, as the case may be, miss that particular schedule, guess what? You have to wait 9 days again. Because they don't want to go do an off-schedule supply, because by doing an off-schedule supply, it means that someone else's schedule will be disrupted. How can you go for 18 days without water? That's the reason why people burn tires. And they take to the streets and engage in fiery protests. But it's not going to solve the problem. What we are doing here is what is going to solve the problem. It is not an easy thing. The reason why we are in this station and in this situation today, it is because the 20-something billion dollars or so that was spent in the utility sector over the last 10 years, if they were targeted towards projects like these, trust me, we would have been in a far off better place. So anybody coming to you and telling you that pipeline is going to solve the problem, them is people to watch. If anybody coming to tell you metering is going to solve the problem, them is people to watch too. Because you have to target this situation from a multifaceted perspective, taking different things into consideration. And in the midst of it, there must be automation. Because for the life of me, I cannot understand why you have to depend on a human being to go and turn on a valve at whatever time for a community to get water. When all over the world, you can stay in an office and control a valve. And you can determine from the comfort of your office whether or not the community at the highest point is getting sufficient pressure for the water to come. So if you have to depend on a human being to turn on a valve, you also have to hope that he's competent enough to turn the valve how many turns to get sufficient pressure to get the water to the highest point. And you have to also hope that he gets up early in the morning to turn on the valve so that you can get water. You just cannot run a utility company like that, ladies and gentlemen. And for the WASA employees who might be concerned that with automation, their jobs may be compromised, I can tell you, it is your opportunity to reskill and to retool to operate in a modern water management company. Don't see it as a threat to your jobs. I know I'm kind of deviating from my prepared remarks, but sometimes you have to, kind of go with the feel of what is taking place. So these regional plans are working in tandem with our community water improvement program. And you would have seen that in just 5 or 6 months, we would have touched the lives of over 100,000 people in our community water improvement program. This Northwest Regional Water Improvement Program is going to touch the lives of over 300,000 citizens in the Northwest region. But it's going to be bigger because we are going to be refurbishing more booster stations, changing over more pipelines, investing in automation, so as to create the environment in Trinidad and Tobago for the very first time of a full and smart water network that will allow the utility company to manage in a modern environment. You would have heard that in the Santa Cruz area, WRA would have done their investigation, and that river that passes behind the meadows can give you 3 million gallons of water per day at the highest points in the dry season. Meaning that in the rainy season, you can get up to 5 million gallons of water. You know Santa Cruz is relying on water mainly from the Caroni water treatment plant that has to be boosted at several points until it gets to Santa Cruz. The fact that we can get or build this intake in Santa Cruz that can give you at minimum 3 million gallons of water, moving most of the communities in the Santa Cruz area to closer to a 24/7 water supply, it means that the water coming from the Caroni water treatment plant can now be redistributed to other areas in San Juan, Barataria, in St. Joseph that are getting a water supply of below 24.2. That is the impact of having localized sources of water, because it means that you don't have to rely on your bigger treatment plants to send water to the highest points. The Caroni water treatment plants send water all down the way to Cocorite. But if we develop water sources in the Tucker Valley area, it means that Cocorite can now be integrated into the Tucker Valley water supply zone, and that water can now be redistributed to other areas on the east-west corridor and central and south Trinidad. Makes sense, correct? Makes sense. Can you just imagine if we can get 3 or 4 wells in the Cascade area? Caroni water reaches to the top of Honolulu and Cascade. So if there's a problem in the El Socorro plant, and of course you always have problems in El Socorro, it means that Cocorite and Laventille and Cascade and Barataria and all those areas, they are impacted their water supply. But if we can get that 3 million gallons of water in the Cascade area, in the Savannah area, 3 million gallons of water, it means that in the Cascade, Honolulu area, Port of Spain area, they can move closer to a 24/7 water supply, thereby getting more water from the Caroni water treatment plant to be redistributed to areas in San Juan, in Laventille, and all those areas. So there's this cascading, no pun intended, positive impact by localizing your sources of water, making more water available to be redistributed. And as you do that, you invest in technologies to ensure that you can manage. Over the last 6 months, we have started a leak repair program, and we have repaired over 12,000 leaks in 6 months. And I know your counselors, I have seen, you might be wondering how I got it, but I have seen some of the minutes in council meetings in Diego Martin, in Port of Spain, in San Juan Laventille. And the main problems that councillors have is leaks. As a matter of fact, you all should change the name of your council meetings and have a separate meeting to discuss leaks. And it is a real issue, because when you walk your different communities, that is what people complain about. Leaks. With this leak repair management program being a very successful program so far, and it's going to be ramped up in the next 2 weeks. In 2 weeks' time, it's going to be ramped up. We aim to eradicate the backlog of 3,400 leaks across Trinidad and Tobago, thereby allowing the authority to be able to respond to reports of leaks within a 24 to 48-hour period at minimum. And as we do that, we will also ramp up our efforts to restore the roads according to I feel that response is a bit loaded. Oh yes, that's a serious issue. Because after you fix the leak, you have to repair the roads. You understand? And I know WASA has not been doing a great job in road restoration. I know it has been trying its best, and there is room for improvement. And this is something that we intend to focus on in the next 2 to 3 weeks, where in every region there will be experienced road rehabilitation contractors, so that as soon as those leaks are repaired, the contractors will go in to restore the road immediately. according to standard. Must happen. And it is possible. It is very, very possible, and I look forward and I thank the Minister of Finance for giving me the support in making sure that our leak repair and road restoration program is well on the way so that we can eradicate once and for all that scourge of leaks and road restoration, which is like almost the face of the authority. It's like the face of the authority. You can give people water 24/7, and if they have to endure the pain, citizens have to endure the pain on going on bumpy roads because the authority is not responding to leaks and not repairing the roads, then again the authority's image is going to be badly damaged. It is something that I'm cognizant of, and it is something that I intend to address or ramp up in the coming 2 weeks. Now, we have to support this program, we will be relaunching the WASA Leak Repair app. All right? And in that app, it is going to allow you, councillors, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, to report leaks on a real-time basis on your smartphones. And as you report the leaks, it will go into WASA's system where quickly they will be able to do their administrative arrangements inside to allow the utility company to repair the leaks and to respond in a very timely manner. And it is part of our digitization effort to get closer to our customers. So we will continue our CWIP program alongside these regional plans. I will encourage you to read our strategic action plan for water improvement in Trinidad and Tobago. And the objective of that plan is to ensure that we have a minimum of 24/3 water supply in every single communities across Trinidad and Tobago within the next 2 to 3 years. Very soon, I expect to be signing that memorandum of agreement with the High Commissioner for Canada. And in so doing, we expect that with our collaboration with the Canadian government, to bring certain modular water treatment plants into Trinidad and Tobago. We have looked at Sangre Grande. I tell you, Sangre Grande has about 15 million gallons of water to be weaned. We are looking at the Mora Dam in central Trinidad, and once we get the requisite guidance from the WRA and the extraction rate, we expect that in that whole penal Superior catchment zone, it will eradicate 1 in 9, 24/2, 24/1 water supply. That whole catchment area comprising of about 30,000 people in Penal and Superior will see a dramatic improvement in their water supply. And we'll do the same thing in parts of South Trinidad and in Tobago. And as we bring more water into the grid, we introduce more technology, we increase or improve or deploy the principles of NRW projects so that the resource is going to be managed in an efficient way. And all across Trinidad and Tobago, we will see a difference in the management of our water supply and the improvement in the levels of service across the utility company. I tell you this, while I am prepared to spend that kind of money to improve the water supplies, the reorganization and the transformation of the Water and Sewage Authority must complement what we are doing. Because if we don't address the systemic and management problems inside of WASA, it means that very soon, after spending hundreds of millions of dollars to improve water supply, and if it is not supported by competent and requisite management, then we're going to go back in the same situation that we find ourselves in today. And very soon, I expect the government of Trinidad and Tobago to announce its plans for the restructuring of the Water and Sewage Authority. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, members of council, my colleagues in the parliament. Thank you all very much for attending. May God bless each and every one of you. And Shira, CEO, and your team, I look forward to a successful execution of this Northwest Regional Water Improvement Program. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister Gonzalez, for those remarks. Really placing this program in proper context as it relates to other works that's going on under the CWIP program and other developmental works and plans for the authority. Thank you again, Minister, for giving us insight and that overview. We can understand and see that we have really some coming from the Minister and from the Minister of Public Utilities still in leadership, providing direction for the authority and for the plans related to the development of the water sector here in Trinidad and Tobago. So thank you again, Minister. Thank you again to Minister, the Honourable Colin Imbert, Minister of Finance, and an MP for the Diego Martin Northeast, and to all the other MPs/ministers for attending this morning. Thank you again to the various chairmen, members of council from Port of Spain City Corporation, from the Diego Martin Regional Corporation, as well as from the San Juan Lavender Regional Corporation for your attendance this morning. Thank you, CEO, Acting CEO WASA, Mr. Kelvin Romain, Acting Director Operations, Mr. Shaira Ali, and Head of Water Projects, Mr. Sean Solandi, for your remarks, your presentations this morning as well. And to everyone, members of the media, everyone else who would have attended this morning's event, we thank you for your attendance. We hope that the information provided here on this morning would be valuable. That would help you to, especially for those who are representatives of various communities, in whatever way, that this information, you'll be able to take it back to your communities, take it back to your area's sphere of influence, to share on the plans that the authority has in place for development, for improving the service to the various areas in the northwestern part of Trinidad. So again, thank you. As we come to a close, I know members of the media, we have members of the media here, and you may want to engage Minister Gonzalez. We have quite a few other members of government here. We can utilize the front area here, to do so. Again, thank you, and may you have a safe and blessed remainder of today. Thank you.